So what I've done is I've made a spreadsheet of characters that I haven't covered yet, and I'm going to roll a digital die to determine which one we talk about today. And Mandy. So Amanda Stowe is a secondary character in Tall Tales, usually called Mandy by most of the other characters, but her tag on the website is Amanda Stowe because I use full names for reasons I've never actually questioned. She's a fairly recurring character and shows up on a couple different blogs. She's Rick's cousin, and so that's where she's introduced, is just kind of an accessory to a story that involves Rick that he brought his cousin along to. But as the story goes on, she gets more and more involved. She's friends with Alice, for instance, and is one of the key reasons that Alice ends up entering the story in the first place. She's first introduced as someone who is aware that Rick and Madison and stuff are into the paranormal, but isn't particularly interested in it herself. She's just kind of along for other reasons. The first appearance that she's there, they're smoking weed together while they're investigating a ghost. Later on, she's sleeping with Madison, and that's why she's around. But as she gets exposed to more and more of this stuff, she kind of takes a certain amount of comfort with it. Like, she doesn't freak out that it's real. She just kind of accepts that that's part of the world as it is and moves on with it. In fact, there's a pretty important conversation that happens between her and Alice in Volume 3, which isn't published yet. But in that conversation, she essentially tells Alice, listen, if this stuff is real, then that's just part of our world, and we can't just pretend that it isn't and turn our eyes away from it and hope that doesn't affect us. Like, if it's real, it's going to affect us, and we just kind of have to work with that. And that's kind of her mindset throughout the whole story. It does offer a bit of a grounding perspective, though. Throughout the story, you're following people who are very deeply invested in studying and engaging with the paranormal, and Mandy is a voice that isn't as much. She's, like I said, has a growing awareness that it's real and that it's just kind of part of life. But her mindset is very much based around the here and now, and the paranormal is just an accessory to that. It's something that she occasionally runs into because of the crowd that she runs with, and that's just part of the deal. But her main perspective is about just living life in the world as it is, and that perspective tends to inform some of the other characters, and in fact is going to become a larger part of what happens in volumes 3 and 4 as she becomes more of a fleshed out character, more of a recurring character, and actually starts getting more deeply involved in the lives of the main cast. Throughout volumes 1 and 2, though, she's mostly just kind of fun to have around and someone who participates in what's going on because she has nothing better to do. And she brings a different perspective to the other characters that I think is valuable to have in a story like this. She appears on multiple blogs, and so I encourage you to go to talltalesuf.com and just kind of click around through different things. If you go to each blog, there's a list of tags, and every character has their own tag. You can click on the Amanda Stowe tag on any blog and just kind of read through all of the stories that involve her. Thank you.